Hello, welcome to a new DEX from the Graphic Design School. My name is Anouk and this DEX is about creating your own brushes in Adobe Illustrator and use these brushes to make some visuals. I use the brushes to make a coral, a flower and a cactus that I needed for this packaging design. But it's up to you what you would like to create and what you want your brush to look like. Well, make sure you've read the brief so you know the design goals and pick the level that in our brief that fits you. Okay, let's start. So here we are. I have opened Adobe Illustrator and the size of the artboard doesn't really matter. I've got it on RGB for now, but just make sure you adjust this if you will be going to print. We will start off by creating a brush that we can use to make a coral. And I want to make a coral that looks really red, bright red, and looks like those branches, like a tree without leaves. I'm going to start with the shaper tool to make the outline for the branch. And I'm just going to use the rounded rectangle tool to do that. Make a first shape, and now I'm just going to adjust the shape. I don't want it to be too perfect. I want it to look a little bit more organic. Direct selection tool. I'm just going to select a couple of points to adjust them. Can go up a bit. And I want some little bumps here and there. And I'm going to use the warp tool to do that. I think its size is too big at the moment. If you double click, you can adjust the width and the height. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Detail, low, simplify, yep. Okay, I think this is better. Let's see. Just need to select it first and then use the warp. Let's see how that goes. Okay, not happy yet. Yep, that's much better. Okay, now I'm going to create a copy. If you press Alt, click and drag, there we have a copy. Well, you can fill it with one color or a gradient or whatever suits your plan. I'm going to fill my branch with a watercolor brush that I downloaded from the internet. There's loads of free ones available as well. And I'm just going to see if it's in here already. No, I'm just going to go here, open brush library, go to user defined where you keep your own brushes activated. Just going to select these. I'm going to use different colors. I'm just going to select all of them, drag them in here. There we are, so I can close that one and have everything available here. Now I want to use this bright red, so just drag it in. It's a watercolor, so I can easily reshape it. Just gonna turn it around. Cool. So this one I'm gonna use as a fill. The first one I want the really dark red. I'm just gonna use the red in here. Okay. So I've got that one ready, and that one I'm gonna pop on to that one. Let's see. Just gonna put this behind, so arrange center back. And that one I don't want to have a fill. I'm just gonna check if this one, no, that's fine, no fill. Okay, some variation of colors in there. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna go to my Pathfinder tool and use crop. And there we have it. I'm gonna move this one back in. Middle. And there we go. Okay. Now I also want my branch to have some little blobby blobs on top of them, and I'm going to do that by creating a brush. Let's make them first. I'm going to use the ellipse tool. I'm just going to make some little circles and put them together. I want there to be red. Maybe I'll just use a red from here, dark red. Okay, I just want it to be darker. Just going to adjust the color. Okay, might be too much. A bit lighter. See if it's too bright. I think it's too bright. I will just use that one. A bit more. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now let's copy, paste another one. That. You can also use Alt and drag. Let's see, is that good? So this one is a bit too big. Okay, yeah, this is what I need, and I'm gonna combine them into one shape. So go to Pathfinder, Unite. There we go. Okay, just make it a little bit smaller. I don't need a big one. Okay, now I'm gonna create a brush. You go to Brushes here. If you don't have it here, by the way, you can always find them here at Window, and then here, Brushes. So brushes, you go here, create a new brush, and we're gonna make a scatter brush, okay? And all these settings I'm gonna adjust later, because I wanna see the effect of the settings, so just press OK. Now it's in here, so we won't be needing you. Just gonna move you to the side. Okay. Now make sure everything is deselected, and select the scatter brush and the paintbrush tool. Shortcut is B. And I'm just going to draw a line, and then we will see all these little blobs over here. But this is definitely not what I was looking for. So I'm just going to double click. Make sure you've got preview on, so you can see what's happening, and I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to rename it as well. I'll call it blobs. And then I'm going to make these random and adjust the settings. So the size can be variable, smaller. And these can just like between. The spacing needs to be much bigger than it currently is. Let's see what happens. It's handy when you can just look at how it affects what you're looking for. Scatter, that means that we move some to the left and some to the right. Scatter it out. Yep. Rotation. Yep. Why not? Okay. Is that what I want? Or a bit more of these little blobs? Maybe like that. Make sure everything is inside. Yep, great. And then you press OK. Apply to strokes. And there we have it. Just gonna group everything, Command G. And now I'm gonna create a brush out of this branch. And we go to Brushes, New Brush, and now this time I'm gonna make an art brush. Okay. I'll name that Coral Red. And I'm just gonna keep it as is. And here you can see how the stroke will work. So if I make a stroke up to down, this is the effect. I want to keep the color as is, so that's no color method. Okay, great. I'm just gonna put that one to the side, make sure it's deselected. Now we can start building our coral with our self-made brush, which is down there. Here it is. Select the tool, the paintbrush tool, And let's start building the coral. That's a matter of just trying and see what happens. But now you can see all the branches growing. And I want it to be like this raster of branches growing, bigger ones, smaller ones, and the size we will adjust later on. Okay. This looks good. Now I can adjust the size, so you can do that. It's here. You can do that by, for example, selecting this one and this one. Well, let's start with this one, the biggest one. I want them to be a bit bigger. So with that one selected, you go here, options of selected object, and you can adjust the options. So I can make that one a little bit bigger by going to the right, and now it gets a bit bigger. Okay. And other ones, I might, like this one, I want to make a little bit smaller. So I do that. Okay. And this way you can make it look a little bit more natural. That is a big one. An older branch, probably a bit bigger. Okay. And then the smaller leaves I want a bit smaller. So you can start refining your visual and make sure it starts to look great. What you can do, for example, is also moving elements to the back, so arrange, send to back, and now it comes from the back of the branch. That one there. This one might be coming from the back, send to back. I'm just trying to figure out what looks better. That one can go for there, that's good. Cool. Might twist that one a bit. They're not too close. Now there's one behind here, which is weird. I'm just gonna move that one over there and adjust the size. It's too big. Yep, much better. Okay, so here we have our raster of branches. And we've got the first one ready. And you can obviously further tweak it and refine it and get it better. But I've got my first one finished. Okay, so now I'm going to create another brush. It's going to help me to build a cactus. I just created a new layer and I'm hiding the coral for now. I'm just going to focus on the cactus leaf. I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool and start creating. I think it's going to be a little bit rounder. I'm just going to adjust it a bit to give it a more organic look. Just going to move it up a bit. I'm going to use the warp tool. Select it first, and then use the warp tool. Selected? Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a few bumps. It shouldn't be too perfect. Okay, let's zoom out, see what we have. Here it's a bit too perfect still. Just gonna refine. Don't like that corner. Okay, should be it. I'm gonna make a copy, hold Alt, click and drag, and we've got an extra one. Now you could just fill it with a plain green, but I'm gonna use a watercolor again. And I have a green one that I'm gonna use. It's here, I'm just gonna drag it in and adjust it a bit to make it big enough. There we go. This one is dark green already, that's great. And then this one I'm gonna put on top. Make sure it's arranged on the front. I need to adjust the size of this one a bit to make it big enough. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna select both. I'm gonna go to Pathfinder and crop. And let's see, there it is, great. Just gonna put it back in. And I'm gonna Command G to group it. Now I also want to add some little spikes, and I'm gonna create a brush to do so. I will do that by using the pen tool. I'm just going to make that one a bit shorter. This one is too straight, by the way. Like that. Back to the pen tool. And make it a bit smaller, it's too big. Okay, I'm just going to Command G to group it, and I want to adjust the stroke. I want the cap to be rounded. Okay. I'm just gonna see if this color is green enough, if it's dark enough. Otherwise we can't see it. Let's make it a little bit darker. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to use this little one to create a new brush. So we go back here, new brush, and it's going to be a scatter brush. Okay. Now I'm going to adjust these options again later on. Just rename it, and we can press OK. So you see it's in here, so we won't be needing this one. I'm just going to drag it out, and I will create a line along which we can select a line, apply our new brush, and here we are. Now I'm going to adjust the brush because it doesn't look right yet, and we're going to use random here again and adjust. So some will be smaller, some will be bigger, not too big, but a little bit bigger. Spacing, I don't want too many. And then the scatter, some go to the left of the line, some go to the right side of the line. I wouldn't mind if one or two are on the border. Let's see, yeah, so this is fine, this is okay, this is cool. Great, that looks good. Rotation, yeah, we can adjust that a little bit. Cool, that looks good to me. Okay, apply to strokes. There we are. So now we have our first bit for the cactus. I'm gonna select everything, Command G to group, and I'm gonna create a brush, new brush, and this is gonna be an art brush. Okay. Now if we go up, down. I'm just going to change that, feels better. Going up to create it, stretch to fit. Colorization method none, okay. I'm going to move that one out of the way. And let's start building. Here is the brush, our brush selected, get that one out. And I'm going to create a line, there we go. I'm going to make them a bit longer even. Okay, yeah, great. And then I'm going to make some other branches in here. But these, that was the wrong way. Maybe like this. Yeah. And then I'm going to adjust the size by going back. And just make that one smaller. And that one smaller as well. If you have preview on, you can see what you're doing. Okay. Thinking of maybe putting that one to the back. Arrange, send to back. Cool. Just change the angle a little bit. No. Put it up a bit. Just looking at it from a distance. I think this one is a bit too big. How about that? Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so we have our cactus done. Now, if you would like to create another brush, we can maybe add a little flower. Let's use the ellipse tool. Create a little leaf. This one I want to have a fill. Let's create little green leaves. And then I'm going to adjust the shape a bit. Okay. I'll just make a copy paste, a simple. Maybe another one. Let's see. Press Alt. I'm just gonna rotate that one a little bit. This one a little bit closer. Okay. Just gonna use the pathfinder to unite, and then I'm gonna go to brushes, new brush, and it's gonna be an art brush. Just gonna change the direction going up. The rest is all good. Okay, gonna deselect that one. Go here, use my paintbrush tool, and let's put a leaf up there. Great. And of course you can adjust the size. If you think this one is too big, just scale it down a little bit. Maybe this one a little smaller as well. Great. Okay, so we have our cactus ready as well. Let's go on and continue to make a flower brush. Okay, so now just to save us a bit of time, I already created the flower that I want to use for the brush, and I'm just going to focus on showing how to create your brush with a flower, something like this. We're going to go to brushes, of course select our flower, then new brush, art brush, okay. And now this time I'm going to use this option, stretch between guides, and I'm going to adjust this one down just below the flower. So it's only going to stretch between these dotted lines and these dotted lines. And the flower will always remain the same. With press, I'm just going to check, I'm going to change that one so the flower grows up down. when I make a stroke. Press OK, deselect, oh wait, I'm just gonna move that one to the side for now. Deselect, and then I'm gonna use my flower, go here, B, and let's create the flowers. So now you see this stem gets longer or shorter depending on how you do it, and it adjusts the flower to the orientation of my stroke. Now if you would like to, for example, to create a field of flowers just different colors, you could then adjust it and adjust this one to hue shift. It was still an orange here, so automatically adjusted it. Okay. Now leave the strokes okay for what it is, and I'm just gonna create more orange, and now I want some other flowers. Let's do another color. Something pinkish. Okay. And it just changes the colors. So you could create a whole field of colorful flowers if you'd like. Let's go like that. Well, I'm sure you get you get the point. So this is also an option that you can use to create art brushes. Well, that was it. As you can see, I used these brushes to create the visuals for these specs. And I also went on to create these mock-ups in Adobe Dimensions. There's a great DEX on making these by Leanne, so give it a try as well. That's it for me now. We're very curious to see your work, so don't forget to share it with us. Bye!